Kids, you are on.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome to Nuts.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Hey.
There you go. Look at that. Still like the smell of this.
How are we all this week?
That is a good question. I have to wait until some people log in and get some answers, right? You know?
This way.
How are you feeling? I
Good now. Good now.
Good now. Now you've been able to sit and you've got had an unbranded drink. So we're not allowed to do that for live. But yes. I don't know about you, but I noticed social media took a big nosedive today.
Did they?
Yeah, like,
no,
like 6 people got banned or something like that. Yeah. Well, I say that. Really, all the feeds that have been popping up is, still here.
Yeah.
I survived.
I think I saw one thing on it today was, a mock news review, news broadcast of, all these kids have to do is just get on a VPN and say they're in a different country, and away they go. Well, get these apps and away they go. Well, do this.
Yeah.
What was the point of all
What was the point of it all, indeed, yeah. For the listening audience, we are talking about a world first. There's an under 16 social media ban in Australia. What are our thoughts?
Is it?
Do you want to go first? I've got opinions, but
Government overreach, and I'll leave it at that. Nah, look. For me, I agree something had to be done. Put it in the... Sorry, the dog just playing drums.
We were trying to be all profound. Hello. Listening audience, our mascot has just interrupted. There we go. Good boy.
Yeah.
Come on. Down.
Yeah, no, when it comes to looking after kids, obviously something has to be done. And it's always a good thing to try and do something.
Yeah.
You put it in the government's hands, it's going to be done wrong.
100%. Yeah.
I think that's where we've landed with it, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know, maybe we should check the track record here.
Fuck, we've only got so much memory on the bloody video camera, man.
Just come on now. Let's just cycle through it here. I mean, they had a massive machete problem down in Melbourne. What did they do?
You said the word had. I don't think.
Sorry. Have. You're right. All right. Okay, that's a bad one. That's a bad one. For those who don't know, they spent 375 grand per bin to get machete bins put in place. For voluntary donations. Yeah.
That's cleaned up this.
Okay, yeah, sure. Right. That's a bad example. Bad example.
Make sure the criminals do the right thing and put the machetes away. Because they had nowhere else to put them before.
Well, that's right. I mean, you can't put them in a normal bin.
No.
It's not recyclable. Well, it kind of is, but I don't want to encourage that. So, I'm finished with this machete. Do you want to use it? Yeah.
But I picked up from the op shop. Far out. Fucking bins.
What op shops are you going to?
One's in Melbourne, obviously.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Well, the bins took my
took my machetes away. My op shop machetes. Because they weren't cheap enough in the normal shops. No, I think we can all see exactly where you're coming from. It gets put in the government hands and it's a blunt instrument.
Yeah.
So we've got a problem with kids on social media. We've got a problem with kids on smartphones. We've got a problem with kids on this, that and the other thing. They go for a social media ban. Because as we all know, as soon as something is made illegal, it never happens again. Right?
Was there not a big enough drug problem? They just had to start something else just to make sure the cops had something to do. Is this,
I look, the drug problems was we won the war on drugs, didn't we? I mean,
we're starting to legalise it now, so they have to make something else legal.
So that's the drug war won. Trump's fighting a losing battle. I mean, he's blowing them out of the water, and then everybody else is legalising.
Oh, far out.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And it's just like, what? As soon as government get involved with shit like this, it's like, what ulterior motive have they actually got? What money are they using and where the fuck are they putting it?
Yeah.
How legitimate is that money usage?
Oh, very.
It just starts making you frustrated.
Yeah, it does.
And And again, it was for a good cause. Like, it's something that...
It's always for a good cause.
Yeah, as soon as you throw children into it, it's going to be a good cause. But far out.
Yeah, I know. It's we've had 6 months or so to actually think about this, and you know, how is it going to be implemented and what's going to be included. You know, for the record, Roblox is not included. Right? Fucking Roblox is the bane of my existence, right? But no, it's kids shouldn't be on social media, because at the end of the day, social media companies pay millions of dollars every year for addiction specialists to work on these things and make them more addictive. That's what they work at.
Yeah.
Constantly. You know, the simple example I always give is the scrolling thing. That's a slot machine. If you're working a slot machine, it does the same thing. It activates the same mechanisms in your brain.
Dopamine fix
It's a
and this and
dopamine
that
thing.
and all
Yeah.
overkill.
You keep going because you think, oh yeah, the next swipe will give me exactly what I want.
Yeah.
You know, Tinder, same thing. You're swiping, trying to find
I wouldn't know.
the one. Oh, sorry, Grindr. You're going one.
Lost it. Shit.
That'd be a tricky one. Tell the partner now. It's just for the podcast, love. I just have to know what I'm talking about. That's all. Why are you sending pictures? Well, it's a blunt instrument that isn't going to do anything. So I've seen the news report today, which is somewhat idiotic, but the kids are all doing the hashtag I survived the ban.
Yeah. So I think it's given them more motive to just carry on. Like, sorry.
I mean, like, you know, it's been a day. As we were recording this, it's been a day. You survived the ban,
Proved
did you?
it's a complete failure.
Yeah. You changed your age on the social media platform before they had to legally scan and check your age. Right.
So I agree that something had to be done. Well, didn't have to be done, but it would be good if something were done.
Yeah.
You know, with the bullying and as I said, the addiction and whatnot. But again,
Yeah, it's not.
the many ways we could have went about it.
Yeah. This isn't going to do it. I mean,
Look, they started with the bullying as the main topic.
yeah.
People pointed out there's bullying in school. Why isn't that being looked at as seriously as...
Well, yeah, they should have been
digital
tackled back when we were in bloody school, but
Yeah, it never really was.
No.
Is it? It's a very hard thing to root out,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I mean, one could imagine it would happen less at school, because it's very confronting, like the shit you can say online
Yeah.
without putting your face to it. You can just say fucking anything.
Yes.
You know, you can't really do that when somebody's standing right in front of you, and if they're bigger than you, you're not going to freaking say it.
No.
So,
I think there's more of a chance of it becoming physical in the real
Well, that's
world
true,
than it
yeah.
does.
yeah.
That's
But I
exactly
mean,
Like, it's more of a mental...
how physical is the bullying? Like, yes, you're getting beaten up or whatever, but it's more the mental game that's putting kids in danger of their own hands, more so than anything, you know.
100%. Well, like you're saying, bullying back in the day was largely at school. So when you went home, you were safe from it. Nowadays, it's all online. You're online. It's constant.
Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head with this. You said what you would say to somebody online is not what you would say to them in person, right? All those horrible things I said to Mike Tyson online, I'm fucking saying that to his face. Fuck.
Now he knows it was you.
Yeah. Ah, shit. Delete.
I think there's already a solution to it online, though, with the block button.
The block button. Yeah.
Educating children and using the block button, I think, would be more effective than banning it.
Yeah.
outright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
see, then
throw some advertising into that marketing.
Yeah, just
For the
block
kids,
them.
like,
To block them, you have to watch an ad.
advertising the block.
that's the ad they have to watch. Yeah. Do you wish to block this person? Yes. Wait 30 seconds.
No. You can skip this ad if you hit block.
You hit block. Yeah.
Done.
Well, this
Block, block,
you
block.
would imagine teenagers would then say, "Well, no, I don't want to block that person because they're cool, or I want to see what they're saying about me, or whatever."
Well, then it's in
Well-
your own hands, isn't it?
Well, that's it. But no, 100%. That's what you would do. If, we're putting these videos up on YouTube and stuff like that, and people put in particularly nasty comments or whatever, well, we've got fairly thick skin anyway, but if somebody's a nuisance or being a dickhead, we are just going to block them because, you know, I don't give a shit. I don't want to listen to them. And that's,
and that's what I think is dangerous with the ban, because we're not allowing our children to be conditioned to it, like to grow that thick skin. You turn 16, you've never touched social media, not like the younger of the next generation that haven't even had a phone yet. As soon as they hit 16, they get social media, they start getting bullied or whatever, or they see things they shouldn't see. They have no idea what, like, they're jumping into the deep end, and that's what worries me.
Point, that,
I can see where you're coming from with that, but the reason why it's better to leave it till later is because the younger they are, the more impressionable they are, the more real it seems to them. So,
it is a volatile point in life, isn't it?
It is.
I guess
if you want to look at that, 16 is
developing.
even not old enough.
It is a
No,
case
16
by case
isn't.
as
You're
well.
still developing at that age as well. It's look, the online thing is an analogy. It's in the same way as you're in a car and somebody cuts you off. You're in a little protected bubble, in a sense. You get your windscreen, your windows, everything's closed. Technically, well, people can hear you, but if you're roaring and shouting at the person who just cut you off, they can't really hear you. They've got their radio on, you've got your radio on. They might hear you.
Is that how you do it?
You know, you're roaring and shouting, you stick
windows
the finger
down
up.
and whatever I can get them. Yeah,
Well, if somebody cuts you off when you're walking, you don't do that because it's right there. It's confronting. It's in there. It's in your face.
Yeah.
And the same way as online, somebody will say something nasty to you, but if you come up to them the following day and you say, "Fucking say that to my face," that's what most people will do. They'll do the big. Shut up. They don't know what to do.
Perfect analogy is in those little memes of, you know, a big dog on one side of the glass, a little dog, and the little dog's just going off his head, and they open the door, and the little dog just shuts
Little
up.
dog just goes right down. That's right. Crouches, puts the paws up. Yeah. Presents the hindquarters. The whole thing.
Jeez, what? Somebody's got to be banned.
Yeah. Well, that's that's the thing. And so when they're younger and they're more impressionable, I think they need to be kept away from it because, as well as that, they need to learn the difference between reality and the digital world.
Yeah.
Right?
So what you're saying is leave the physical bullying while they're little.
Yes.
To toughen them up.
Beat each other black and blue when you're 10, and then when you're 16.
And then jump online at 16,
You can fuck your head up.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, online is worse in some ways because it's reputation destruction. It's rumours being spread about you. It's, you know, poison words that are going out, and you see it written there, and everybody's liking it, and you think, oh fuck, everybody believes this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you go into school the next day, and whatever was said about you, you think everybody in that school is thinking the same thing. But in reality, if anybody actually seen it, half of them are going, well, no, that's not true.
I can't remember
In
what the
saying
fuck
that,
was said last night.
In saying that, the same thing can happen in the real world as well. You know, gossiping through people.
Yeah, I was going to say, well,
that's right.
You've seen it at our bloody work. One person just says one fucking thing about someone else.
Yeah.
Freaking.
Then it does the rounds everywhere. Yeah.
Comes back as its Chinese whispers of some fucking horrid freaking story.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, that only took 20 minutes. Like,
It's important to note as well, we're in a pretty much all male working environment. All right, and rumours and you know, gossiping behind people's back, that's a woman thing.
Yeah.
All right?
It still happens.
It does still happen. Yeah. Men engage in it to a certain extent as well. But it is much more of a female-oriented thing.
Yeah.
You know, so if I have a problem with you, I'm more likely to get in your face about it than to go scurrying around behind your back and spreading rumours. You know.
What are you doing? Just keeping the rumours down, boss. Come on.
Well, which would you rather? Chinese whispers or a couple of broken
Sorted
teeth?
out. But again, like, where did we get that mentality from? I was beating up a fuckload at school. So, you know. Get where you're coming from with the whole. You've got to expose yourself or expose kids to these sorts of things to know how to handle it. But I think that's again where parents have got to step in, which is hard to universalise this in teaching them how to handle these situations.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, it's easy just to brush it off. You know, the kids they don't mean what they say, or they're just young, don't worry about it. But it's the kid's affected, so you've got to get them to understand how little it means and how it's not a big deal and how to handle it and how to fight back if the bloody will have
how to fight back in a certain extent as well.
That's why I think we shouldn't have the ban. You need to be exposed to it, and then as a parent, you need to be there to guide them.
But I mean, like, how segregated are kids now? It's like this day and age, they'll have a computer and internet in their room. They'll go in their room, cop all this freaking hate. The parents don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
Things like that. And that's where I said something has to happen. Like, is there some way of opening up what parents can see,
The owner says take the computer out of the room and
put it in
That's it.
That's right. That's a good solid rule to have as well, by the way. If you have kids who have phones as well, they're not allowed them in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And after a certain time at night,
that's
because
it's just a disciplinary thing that, which is another argument in itself with the discipline of kids these days.
Oh well, we can definitely talk about. I mean, I've got opinions on that, all right, but it's in an ideal world, all parents would do this type of thing and would guide their kids. But if they were already doing that, then kids wouldn't in general be saying these things online either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
The bully would be as monitored as the person getting bullied.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I've brought my kids up right, it would never occur to them to say something horrible and nasty online. You know what I mean? I mean, all right. Yeah, again, you can always see a bit of teasing, something like that happening.
You got a new follower.
Hey,
new follower.
Love it.
What was that name?
Mow grass and eat ass.
No grass and eat ass. It's an unusual name to have in your birth certificate, but we don't judge.
Yeah. Who mows grass before doing that?
Yeah.
Nice.
No. It's so what was I saying? I was saying in terms of your discipline of kids, there's always going to be some teasing, but so say for example, I was a bit of a dickhead when I was a teenager as well, but I would never have gone online and proactively, routinely encouraged another kid to kill themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Which is, that's something that does happen.
Questioning how sick and twisted these kids are. Like, they're just words to them, but the impact is huge.
The impact is huge. You focus on negative things more.
How the fuck does a kid end up like that?
Well, that's yeah. I mean, again, though, I genuinely think that most of the kids who do this type of thing online do see it as a joke.
Yeah.
But when it's written down, it's not a joke. So if I say to you, "Oh, shut the fuck up" or whatever, you can tell from my
bridge,
jump off the bridge. Or, would you ever just step out in front of traffic? You know what I mean? I don't actually want you to do that. You can tell from my inflection, my tone, my general demeanour.
Yeah, well, that's another thing to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but when it's written down,
when it's written, is it?
That's right. When it's written down, it's just the words coming at you. It's the message coming at you.
Yeah.
That's, for young kids who are impressionable, they take it on board.
Yeah.
And as a species in general, we focus on the negative more, which is why news focus on the negative more.
Yeah, we're social beings and we've got to be accepted. And so when you cast it aside, it's a big deal.
It is a massive deal.
That's another point though, guys. Because we're social beings and we're moving into a digital world, we're really stripping that away from the younger generation that will be walking into a extremely digital world.
Yes. And
like that missing link of the evolution here and this new age that's coming through is a completely different being, really. And we don't know how to control it.
Well, no.
And we've left it to the government and they don't know how to control fucking jack shit.
Government are generally several years behind anything. But
taxing us for it.
Let's be realistic. Most adults don't even know how to handle the online world.
Yeah.
But we're grounded in reality. So I haven't been on.
Well, this is
I haven't been on social media, in 10 years.
Yeah.
And deliberately so. Like apart from YouTube, or I might put the odd comment or whatever. But generally, I just listen to my things and have my opinions on them, and I chat about them with real people in the real world.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Like, again, we're grounded in reality, like the real world, because that's how we grew up. So we compare this to that. The younger generation haven't got that to compare to yet, because they grew up on the digital.
That's right.
So it's like, well, what are they comparing it to? So now that digital is their world. When they're told they're hated, they're gonna hear it so much more.
100%.
It would be interesting to see what percentage of children are actually getting bullied versus the percentage of children that are actually getting helped, like finding their communities.
Oh yeah,
in the
so
social space.
I think I know where you're going with this. Is in terms of the internet first comes out, the idea is you can always find your people in a sense. So if you're the only person in school who likes Star Wars, say, right, which, you know, you weren't ever. When we were growing up, there was always going to be other kids who like Star Wars. Nowadays, it's only one fuckwit who likes Star Wars in school, right? After what they did to that franchise. But just have to get to dig in.
Are you bullying the kids online, are you?
No, I'm trying to get to dig in at Disney there, all right? But no, like, if there's one thing that you're into, it doesn't matter what it is. Genuinely doesn't matter what it is. And there might be nobody else in your school who's into it, but there might be 1,000 or 10,000 people, even in your local area, who are into it.
Yeah.
And you can find them online.
Yeah.
So I can understand that aspect to the internet, but I personally think the negative aspects far outweigh the positives because it's so hard to control or to curtail the negative, to stop any negativity
Can we say
coming
that?
through. I keep saying negative a lot.
Can we say that factually without knowing the numbers of pros versus cons?
Well,
Because
I think,
we only see the cons because that's what they're trying to push. They push the ban, so all your media you're seeing is the negative aspects to it.
that's a fair point.
So I think I might have to do some research on that and see.
I think you'll find that research very difficult to do, though, because the positive aspects of the internet and the negative aspects of the internet are subjective to each individual.
Yeah.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
true. Is YouTube a part of this?
YouTube is, it's social
not
media.
See, I don't quite get that because that's not really a platform where you converse with other people.
I'm guessing it's
You-
because
like-
of the comment section.
It's a comment section. It's
I mean, there's so much to learn. It's like a freaking encyclopedia.
there's also
like
so many cat
anytime you-
videos up there, right?
An encyclopedia of cat videos. No, but I mean, like, anytime you're doing anything around the house, work on the car, you're doing anything. Fuck, I don't know how to do that.
You
Jump
go
on
to the
YouTube.
bookshelf and you grab a.
Yep.
No. Sorry.
Is that a new app?
Yeah.
Is that,
Oh, we just had an idea. Not YouTube. It's a bookshelf. It's a bookshelf app. Yeah.
But I mean, like,
Get where you're coming
the
from,
amount
yeah.
you can learn on that
Yes.
is absolutely immense. And
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to do it. Like, you know, we're giving all our knowledge on other, you know,
Yeah, we're giving
platforms,
knowledge
the
on
whiskey
whiskey. We're
reviews and
giving
this and
our
all that sort of
opinions
stuff.
on things. We're
You know, to take that away from kids is a bit, just because of what, the chance that somebody might comment something somewhere along the lines to someone somewhere, like,
But this is where again it's subjective because
well, that's,
you know. So say you're particularly big into your whiskeys, so you'll listen to whiskey reviews, you'll listen to all those type of thing. I'll listen to politics or economics or whatever. You know, I'll listen to all manner of different things there. Crap behind the camera there, he'll listen to whatever tickles his fancy. Again, it'll be something different. It might be music, it might be gaming.
yeah.
You know
Fat
what I mean?
dudes
My
in
father
mermaid
will listen
dresses.
to
That's what I watch.
historical.
What's that?
Huh?
Fat dudes in mermaid
Fat dudes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
outfits,
Yeah, no,
swimming. It's
fair
funny.
enough.
You know, so in the same manner,
Let's bully the fuck out of here.
in the same manner, there is also a wave of people who post this type of content, and who also a wave of people who watch this content of people eating and getting very, very fat online, and they eat ridiculously large meals that are full of preservatives and sugar and calories, and they just gradually balloon up. And there's people who watch this.
There's a niche for everything, I guess.
There's a niche for
you
everything.
But again, how does that affect under 16s?
Because they watch this shit.
They usually watch it while taking a shit too.
So there's also that, yeah. Completely natural process that's been digitized in a sense, you know.
So
But
this
it's-
all stems from the plumbing company, Big Plumbing,
Yeah.
to get people off the toilet. Is that what this is?
You'd think they'd want people to be on the toilet. No, it's that's why it's subjective, and there's the shit that you see up there as well. There is plenty. I mean, I don't look for it. I shut off all my settings so that I don't get these weird suggestions up there. That means I miss out on things as well, of course, that I would actually be interested in. But you see plenty of stupid dancing videos that go up there,
It's just,
random people talking utter nonsense.
Again, that starts falling that addiction thing. Like, you flick, there's some girl dancing, and you flick, and there's some girl dancing, you flick, and then you got your young daughters freaking emulating that.
Yep.
It's just like, okay, and then that's all they're watching.
Yeah.
So, I'd love for you to dance, but what are you doing spending 2 hours watching other people shake their ass for a few seconds and then flick it to the next one? Like,
I think we've had this with the kids. I mean, well, certainly my kids, I never really liked them being on YouTube and stuff like that, but occasionally they'd go on and they'd look at people, who parents, by the way, I think they shouldn't have done this with their own kids, but they put their own kids on the internet and had them just playing with toys on the internet. So my kids are watching other kids play with toys that they probably fucking have already. They're just sitting there watching.
If you watch I told you older one, can you watch your brother while he's playing with it?
Yeah. No. I don't want to do that. Which is exactly what they would say.
Put just a border around it.
Yeah. Make it look like a screen. That's what you get. And, and that's just at a young age. And I kind of basically banned it. Any time I seen them doing it, you're watching other kids play with toys. Yeah. You have a bag of toys right there. So I think you can tell I've got some opinions on the social media ban. But solutions, what do you think would be better?
Well, people knock me for this one, but we haven't got internet at the house. It fucking works.
It's true.
I mean, we've got, my partner and I, we have internet on our phone, so for whatever the frick you need internet for, we've got it. I can, what is it, screen mirror to the TV if we're watching a movie, sorry to say, we've got Disney downloaded. Right, so we can watch the Star Wars on TV.
Oh, this guy.
The old ones too, come on, the originals. No, but that way we can sit down and watch movies with the kids, they've got it there. But they've got no access to it. My kids will ask, can we do this on your phone? What are you doing? This. Okay, you can for that. Or, something like that. If we want to watch YouTube, or I'll put it to the TV, we'll put some, camping or four-wheel driving videos or something. Like, we're watching this. We're not watching anything else. Oh, okay. Things like that. And so I can monitor everything. Yeah. Not that I'm trying to be powerful to it. I just don't want to be paying for internet. But it works, and
so you're a cheapskate, but it works.
I mean, my kids are younger, so as they get older, they're going to need internet for school and all the rest. So that's going to change. But for the time being, bloody hell, it works. It's good.
But when
they get knocked for it,
no. But you don't need the internet. You don't need the television on all the time.
No.
It does my head in to see the kids sitting in front of the screen, and I know I did it when I was growing up as well. Yeah. But Christ's sakes.
That was my thing, not their thing.
For me, not for thee. No, when they get older, then again, like you said, they need internet for certain things and all that. That's when you have to monitor it. Which goes back to something we said earlier. It's a parental issue versus a government issue. What's the best way of doing it? Now, I know people who have their teenagers and they're able to monitor what's going on the phone, and they can see exactly what pictures have been sent or this and that. The thing is, some kids will always find a way around those parental controls. And it's also your big brother monitoring your own kid, which you shouldn't have to do. You shouldn't have to check every facet of their life.
That's a slippery slope to start with.
It is a slippery slope,
And there's as I've said, new generation coming through. Well, how are they going to take that invasion of privacy? How are they going to learn from that? What are they going to do to their kids? How is it going to be?
Yeah,
as this digital age comes through more and more,
is it going to amplify, or is it going to go completely the opposite way and say, well, I hated it when my parents monitored me, so I'm not going to do that to my kids. And then thusly the problem could get worse. I don't know. Personally, I would say I would drive them back to the 90s. That's the way I would say the best way to do it is, rather than banning kids off social media, which is a very blunt instrument.
Slow it the fuck down so they get frustrated and don't want to use it.
Dial-up connections only. No Wi-Fi. No, I would say take away smartphones from kids, and that would be a much easier rule to enforce. You know what I mean? So parents could still buy their kids a smartphone, because you can't stop that. But if at any point
you control the time they spend on it.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. So I was going to say, if you don't buy them one, well, we're just talking a social thing here. Every other kid's got one. That kid hasn't. Well, then they're going to get fucking bullied anyway. So
well,
then
you know. But that's the parents' fear. I wonder, would they get bullied, or would they just go in and say, "No, my mum and dad won't let me have a smartphone." Oh, why not? Well, they're dickheads. You know,
start making a new movement. You're cool if you don't.
You're cool if you don't have it. That's right.
I don't think cool's the right word to use anymore.
No.
I'm going to touch it.
Probably not.
I'm too good to have one of those things.
Too good, yeah. It's beneath me. I need a smartphone. That's the attitude. No, they could have flip phones or Nokia phones, or they can still text, they can still call. You know what I mean? They can still send the odd picture. Fine, but take away the smartphone element to it.
Yeah.
My opinion. You know, tell me what you think about that, lads. or our listening audience, because we are live as well. You know?
I think that is the best way to tackle it. The smartphone, remove it. You can still communicate via a phone. But it's actually interesting. I watched a video of some young kids talking about it today, and they were saying that it's weird to hand your phone number off to someone. It's not something that's done this day and age. For us, it's normal. It's like, yeah, I'll grab your phone number.
Yeah.
But for that generation, they're not about that.
The phone isn't a phone. What's your Snap? What's your Insta? What's your...
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So there's that stigma in their culture, that youth culture that we don't understand.
Yeah.
So to us it sounds dumb. It's like, just give me your phone number, text them. But to them it's like, no, why would I do that? That's dumb.
Yeah.
Give them a ring now, see if they want to come around. What?
I'm not talking to anybody.
Call.
Which is, that's another thing. I don't fucking like texting people. I'm like, just ring them, you know, if you need to suss something out or sort something out or find out, you know, just ring them. Sort it out in 2 seconds and then put the phone down. What's the problem? But yeah.
I think it reminds me a lot of like the old generations complaining about rock and roll. Trying to steal the rock and roll.
Oh fuck, we just got old, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Was cruising around in those noisy cars.
Subwoofer. I don't think kids even have subwoofers these days.
Yeah. Smartphones haven't put them in yet. That's what. No, it's a changing world, and we need to incorporate all of these digital features into it. And I accept that to a large extent. And the problem is that, like you said, if you don't give your kid a smartphone and all of their mates have smartphones, they feel left out and stuff like that.
Outcasted, yeah.
Outcasted in a sense. But
and too, like, even our kids going into, grade 3? Mm-hmm. They need a bloody iPad,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're being encouraged to involve their whole,
anyway,
you know, they're being taught to get into all this sort of stuff.
But not to communicate within it, the space, which is strange.
Yeah.
Well, this is where, again, you could take the debate. I mean, if you look at it in a certain extent, what I always thought with the iPads, if you're typing something out on the iPad, you're not learning how to spell, for example, because it has autocorrect. And that would have been my opinion at one point, but then I went on placement last year, and kids all use their iPads to type out their stories, and they submitted their stories, and the spelling was still fucking wrong. Like, how do you get that wrong when there's a big red line under it telling you it's wrong?
Oh, jeez.
So,
what's that line? Oh, well.
The computer will fix that for me.
Yeah, that's right. I'll fix it later. So, I don't see that they're necessarily getting better at anything. Maybe they are, but I don't know. What aspect of what teenagers do you know who have entered the workforce who are better at what task?
Well, maybe evolution isn't about getting better at things, but things becoming more convenient.
Are
We're
they?
going to end up with those fat fuckers on those hover chairs from Wall-E before too long, aren't we?
Well, that's a fair point. You know, things are becoming more convenient, and to a large extent they are. I mean, you can chat GPT an email to make it sound more professional, say, you know what I mean? It is becoming easier to do these things.
Yeah. So we're losing the general skills then,
You're
aren't we?
losing the skills, yeah.
You know.
Because you're not practicing it.
He just said, like, our, generations past to us are like, well, these guys don't know how to fix a car or don't know how to do this job or that job. I'm like, yeah, well, we didn't grow up doing half of that crap.
No.
I mean, some of us did, but you can see that many people that don't know it.
Yeah.
And the things we do know, that's getting lost now.
Yes.
And so I was like, shit, we're dumb.
Yeah.
And we're teaching our kids even it's,
Well, that's
it's
where
a scary thought, really.
it is incredibly useful to have the YouTube video that shows you how to do something, right? It is. But here's the other thing. If you watch a YouTube video saying how to do this, how to clean out the EGR valve on the car or whatever, right? Do you remember that?
Well, why don't you watch it and do it a couple of times?
I would say though, we would. I'm not saying I'd remember every single step. Might forget one thing here or there, maybe, if I've only done it once. But if I see the video, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do, and then I go and do it. If somebody asked me how to do that 6 months later, I think I'd be fairly, I'd get 80% of it right. I'd say, be like, so you take the X, Y, Z off, you do this, and I think I've forgotten something there. But if I had it in front of me, I would remember.
But if you had just watched it and tried to tell somebody, you wouldn't remember.
No, because you're still doing it. I think we're still capable of learning that.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, is the same true of younger kids who? It's like if you use Google Maps all the time, and they have done studies on this. If you use Google Maps all the time, you actually lose the ability to find landmarks and to remember them to then find your way the next time.
That's where gaming comes in handy, because you need to find landmarks to find your way around the map.
There you go. All right,
But if
that's really coming down pro technology.
But if you look at
get on Facebook and get on COD.
If you look at humanity at scale, right, everything has become more convenient. If you look at your Stone Age, near that sort of age of man, you wake up, you need to know what type of plants you can and can't eat, what time of day you can hunt for animals.
Yes.
All those little minuscule things we don't even think about anymore because we just go to the grocery shop.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe convenience is a big part of all of this, and we're taking that, going back to the band thing, we're taking that convenience of communication away from the kids.
Yes. Yeah, it's like as they make it more convenient to communicate, we're losing the ability to, I would say.
Until they put the microchip in the back of our head and we can hear each other.
We can do everything, yeah, that's right. We won't have any problems then.
Well, that day's like back in high school,
And what happens when that day comes, when Neuralink actually is released? What age do we put that into a kid?
Oh, jeez.
That's where it'll become subjective again, because some people would put it in from birth, and some people would say never, and some people would say...
when I'd completely disappear off grid. And say,
it'll be a massive cultural shift when people start putting it in at birth.
Yeah. See, I think something like that, obviously this is where it starts. It's always where it starts. But if you could imagine a Neuralink as some sort of chip whereby if I've lost my arm and then I get a robotic arm and I can control it, chip in the head, magic. Works perfectly. I can be tracked 24/7. All that. Cool.
So I
gets dark very quickly when you...
I was just,
just
got to think about jacking off.
Jesus, that got dark. I consider that.
Come on, a robot hand. Don't tell me you didn't go there. Come on.
Did you ever see
Howard
that video
Wolowitz
of the person showing off his robot arm and they've turned it on, it starts doing this?
Well, you can see that being a thing, but a Neuralink, that means you can communicate thought-wise. Fuck, that's going to get dangerous very quickly.
Rin says...
Christ almighty, the trouble I would get into if my wife could hear my thoughts. Come on.
Rin says, I'm hearing 2 accents. Where are you guys from?
Here? No. Australia, mate.
That's how we should actually respond. Where are you from? Here.
Where are you?
Yeah, North Brisbane and Ireland. I fly over especially for this podcast every week. So.
One Cubit says the chip will always be a control system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's where my conspiracy mind always goes with every little step of this. You know,
convenience.
social media ban and this and that, and it's just that little bit more control, and we don't see it because we're just.
It's the boiling frog, isn't it?
It is the boiling frog. And take the social media ban, right? That's the first step. Then, they can't really, they're just not able to verify all the ages of all these 16. We're going to need some sort of identification.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're going to have to get to prove that you're 16, which is a digital ID. You don't want digital ID. Yeah. No. Right? You never want that. Because then it's ID constantly, right? And you think, well, what's wrong with that? I carry my driver's license around with me. Simple example of this is during the war, World War II, in England, you legally had to have ID on you and you had to display it, and basically it was their way of trying to root out spies and all that kind of thing. Then there was a massive court case, the early 50s, where one man refused to show his ID. He says, the war's over, we don't need to carry ID on us all the time, we shouldn't have to do this, I shouldn't have to prove my identity just to go about my normal day. And he won, because he was right. You know, I shouldn't have to prove my identity to just float about during the day. Kind of thing like that. If you have a digital ID, you were going to be welded to that forever.
Yeah.
And with mass surveillance and AI systems, everything about you is going to be saved, collated, and
you got a new follower.
Recorded.
Hey!
Say hi to Rin.
Hey, Rin.
Fellow Aussie, she says.
Very good.
Nice.
Very
Whereabouts?
Good. Yeah, whereabouts. Have we got any Irish followers yet? Can you just chime in there, all right? TikTok hasn't put us out that far
Paddy.
yet. Come on. We've got Paddy? I'm thinking TikTok is limiting us to down under at the moment. That's what it is. You know?
But yeah, you're right about the chip.
Yeah.
It is a massive control system.
Yeah.
And convenience will be the way they fit it into you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it just comes down to, like, who ends up in control of that. Like, it might be all sweet and innocent to start with. Who's the next one to get in charge?
That's right.
You know, it's like,
that's what you always have to consider when you put in new laws to try and force through the policies that you want. Eventually, the other person's going to be in. Yeah. Going to be in charge, right? And
the fear is, you know, it's going to get to a point of Hitler who? No, this guy's...
yeah. Well, yeah, it could very easily. I mean,
and that would make it very freaking easy.
Yeah. But the more authority and control that you give away, the easier it is for a dictator to do what they want to. Look, there's another analogy you can take from World War II. Countries that had meticulous records on their citizens, the Jews were wiped out. So, I'm forgetting specifically, I think it was the Netherlands, they were basically wiped out because they had, or was it Denmark? They had such good records that the Jews were basically wiped out, whereas France, say, they didn't have the best records, and so they were more easily able to hide. And that's the if there's a digital ID, you can't get away from that. You can't ever get away from that. It's not a case of
you stick a chip in, you can't even run bush or anything.
Yeah,
you're screwed.
You know what I mean? The drones will always get you. You know, but it's.
Well, I'm feeling mandatory ID coming in next year.
Next year, you think?
I think it'll be next year. They'll be like, well, we can't get a foothold on this under 16 ban.
Yeah.
We need to mandatorise digital ID.
Did they make it, intentionally make it so useless this time around, just to bring more in?
Our politicians are not that smart. But yes,
they're good at deceiving.
No, I don't think they could plan that far ahead. I think they are actually...
Whoever's controlling them did.
Yeah. You know.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, look, here's another analogy you can take. Electric cars, right? At the moment, they're giving you economic incentives to get cars. So it's salary sacrificing, or it's government grants, or whatever, right? And all in the name of net zero. Okay? That's what you have at a certain point, right? Eventually those cars are going to be able to drive themselves. And then it's going to be, well, they've got such a good safety record, you know, and they may very well, I'm not denying that, they might have an excellent safety record. But there's still going to be problems with them. And there's still going to be issues. But those type of issues will be minimised in favour of the positives, because they want everybody to have electric cars for net zero. And then once everybody has electric cars, it's going to be, well, you better have a self-driving car, because then we're going to have fewer fatalities on the road. And then that's when they're going to start saying, they're going to make it harder. First off, they're going to make it harder to have a petrol or diesel car that you drive.
Yeah.
And they're going to make it so much easier to have an electric car. And people are sheep. They're just going to flock to the electric side, right? Once you get to that point, then it's a minority of people, say 10% of the population, who still drive a car, a manual, real car. And then they're going to be hit with high taxes, and they're going to be penalised. And anytime there's a crash, it's going to be, and there was a driver involved in this. Same way, it's the exact same thing that happened with the vaccines during COVID. Take your own opinion on that, but it was, you know, if you weren't vaccinated, they would list out the people who died of COVID. Most of them which died with COVID, but you know, they would say 9 died today of COVID-related deaths, or whatever way they would phrase it, and they would say, you know, 5 were unvaccinated. And then the next day it was 4 people died today, nothing. And then they would say the next day, you know, 5 people died today and 2 of them were unvaccinated. They would conveniently do this every day, and the days where they didn't say how many were unvaccinated were the days where more vaccinated people died with COVID. You know what I mean?
Media push.
Yeah, this is one step at a time.
One Cubit says, we know who's controlling the politicians, follow the money. World Jewelry. He also says that Toyota Camry 2026 is subscription based. You get a Navman for a year, then you have to subscribe.
You have to subscribe. Yeah. I don't want to subscribe to my car.
I'm telling you, everything's a subscription now.
Yeah.
Sticking to my pre-2000 Hilux, mate. That thing's never going to die.
I want nicotine. I need a subscription. It makes me mad. Makes me mad.
That's fucking. This is just all control.
I don't think I've ever subscribed to anything.
Cubit.
Except Night on the Scotch.
Please subscribe to
YouTube, Night on the Scotch. Subscribe.
One Cubit says, you will own nothing and be happy.
That's old quote. Yeah, I know that one.
It's running around for a while. Be eating fucking crickets and be happy for it.
Fucking right, yeah.
How do you feel about that? Are you prepared to eat bugs?
Get fucked.
To be honest, I have listened to actual nutritionists and stuff talk about this. We're getting off topic here. Financially, health-wise, taste-wise, all this sort of, it is actually pretty good stuff.
So we have our government shill for you.
No.
Everyone.
Let me finish. It's good if you got a choice. I would choose to eat my, fried popcorn crickets. I would give that a crack, and I'd be happy to.
I mean,
as long as I can grab a fucking steak if I wanted to as well.
It'll be mashed crickets into a fucking steak shape.
I am not going to take one for the other. But if there's a choice, I'll give it a go.
I'd be like that as well.
I think there is some kind of benefit to it, nutritionally, economically, but not to cut one out for the other.
No, that's right. No, because it's a farce when you say that. It's it's to save the planet, or it's this, or it's that. Whatever excuse they give, it's a farce. It's all about the money. It's always about that. We had the comment there. Exactly right. Follow the money. And like you said, if I was in Thailand or wherever that they serve these things, I probably would. I'd be like, fuck it, I'll get a thing of fried crickets, which I'm sure all the tourists do. And you'll try and you go, crickets, and you have a little laugh with it. If it was available and it tasted nice, I probably would occasionally go for it and all that sort of thing. But
had bags of popcorn crickets, next to your steaks at Woolies, I'd fucking grab a bag. But
Well, if it's carbon credits and the only thing you can afford on your carbon credits is the crickets.
We don't do cows anymore. We do crickets. No.
Fuck that, exactly.
So farts.
What?
Just a slight.
Are you worried about
tangent.
the cow farts?
A slight tangent.
It's just a methane thing, is it?
I was reading today that a woman's fart smells worse than a man's fart.
Can confirm.
But in saying that, it's a good thing if a woman's fart smells, because it reduces her chance of having Alzheimer's if they have a very stinky fart. It has to do with the type of gas that comes out, something sulfide. that gives it that rotten
Really?
egg smell.
Where did you read this?
What's it got to do with Alzheimer's?
Apparently, the release of this sulfide, something hydrogen sulfide, I can't remember what the chemical is.
yeah.
Right.
But if they're releasing a lot of that, it means it's reducing their risk of Alzheimer's.
But
Okay.
why only specifically for women?
That's what I was about to ask.
I don't know. That's as far as I got when you started the fucking podcast.
We got questions, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start Googling.
Break
But it
this
does
one
say
down.
freedom at any price, by the way.
Yeah. Parts
But I
power.
mean, when going back to what we were talking about, what is the cost of freedom, and when will we take our freedoms back? Because it seems that we're going under more control than
Yeah.
ever before,
Yeah.
and there'll be more coming in the next decade.
Yeah, and again, like, yeah, I'm not doing it to help anybody else. Like, I don't see how this helps anybody else, but that's exactly why I chose this lifestyle. Get away from the grid as much as I can. I'm not a big tinfoil hat guy or anything, but you know, keep the internet away, keep the grid away the best I can. You still got to be a part of society,
Yeah.
but every little chance they try and push control, no.
Yeah.
No, try to push this COVID vaccine crap. No, don't want to freaking borrow it. You know, put your foot down anytime they try and push control, and if there's enough pushback, they're going to stop trying these silly little fucking things.
I find though there's never enough pushback.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is there's a lot of people that talk about it, but then next thing you know, they're part of the fucking sheep herd.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, we saw all the protests lately, well, fairly recently, a few weeks back. You know, there looked like a lot of people were getting involved in that, and there was a lot, you know, it did spread quite well, and there was a lot of pushback, and if we just had that commitment to a lot of these sorts of things,
Yeah.
every
we
little
wouldn't have all
time there's
these
a bit of
problems.
control, they push back that freaking hard,
Yeah.
we might actually get somewhere, I reckon. Like,
This is where America kind of stands out because they do tend to have more pushback over there. I mean, everything's hyped up to 100 there.
yeah.
But that does actually make a difference because in Ireland, people are sheep. You know what I mean? The government doesn't really force anything. They just gradually put all of these different legislations and rules and regulations in place, and everybody just goes along with it. And, you know, there might be a little protest here or a big protest there, but it just generally carries on.
And I mean, even if it's not, you're not making ground in what you're protesting or pushing back on, a politician of any sort is in that position because they are a politician.
Yeah.
And what they want is to get back into their seat or, you know, to gain votes and all this sort of stuff. So if you're pushing back on certain things and enough of it, they're like, oh shit, their voters that now aren't voting for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to change up what I do.
That's right.
To gain, you know,
Which is exactly
gain votes back. So
Yeah. That's
Unless-
exactly what happens.
Unless you have a two-party system that both agree on the same fucking issues, right?
again,
Yeah.
Simpsons called it.
You have a new follower, user.
User, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, look, again, I can give the analogy of Ireland. We had, anybody who might have noticed anything online about immigration in Ireland, it's really hit a bit of a peak in the last few weeks. And for years and years and years, the government have been saying, yeah, it's all good, it's fine, we need the people coming in. Welcome. We even had one politician put up a post on social media, in 45 different languages saying, welcome, come to Ireland and you will get this, and this.
Far out.
This is what we've had. And now there's been massive backlash and pushback. We actually have had some of the politicians commenting now, basically, slightly negatively. Immigration is getting a little bit out of hand. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
Got a little bit coming.
They do turn, you know.
One Cubit says, I love the Irish spirit. They always stood up for the underdog, in my opinion. User says, evening, lads.
Hey.
And you have a new follower, E.
Thank you.
E for ecstasy, or
E Rose heart hands, if you want to.
What was that?
E Rose emoji heart hands.
Oh,
very nice.
love you too.
Yeah. I think that's the username, but I'm just taking that as you're sending us roses and hearts. It's nice. Well, look, you're right. The Irish generally do stand up for the underdogs, and so it's Palestine, for example, at the moment, and generally that's the attitude we take. So you can really see it in the music. Say, for example, we do a lot of political music and things like that. You hear us sing songs about Chile, for example, when it was under the rule of Pinochet, and Cuba, say, you know, all sorts of places like that. We always do root for the underdog.
He says, hey, thanks for the welcome. Where is everyone from? Looks like a nice night.
It is a nice
good night.
Yes, we are in
North Brisbane.
North Brisbane. Yes, I've been imported. I'm the affirmative action hire. I'm very proud of it.
Sitting here whinging about immigration, yet he's not in his own fucking country.
Yeah. That's how it works, all right? Hypocrisy, their name is.
Thanks for the likes, Heath.
Yeah, but no, I find the Irish generally, we just go along with all, particularly with the EU regulations. It just goes, we just go with it now. And it's the same thing that happens in England, although there's getting a bit more pushback now. To be honest, I find it over here, COVID was the big example. Everybody did just go along with everything. There was a lot of that. There was plenty of protesting as well, but there was a lot of people who just, I don't want to get the vaccine. I don't want to get the vaccine. I got the vaccine.
Yeah, oh, it's just easy just to do what they say.
It's easier. I just want to be able to go to the pub.
Fucking foot down.
I don't even go out all that often. Yeah, but I want to be able to.
Yeah.
Freedom of choice, right?
Fucking A.
Opportunity. That's what you want. Everybody to have the same opportunity and the ability to choose. Pretty much, so long as it doesn't.
As long as you're over 16, right?
Yeah. As long as it doesn't infringe on the freedom of another person.
As long as your fart smell bad enough that you remember it.
Yeah. For any new followers, we have learned recently that for some reason that we can't explain.
I'm intrigued by the scientists that sat down and figured that one out.
Yeah. Okay, we'd like some female volunteers now, ladies. If you could all please
Fart in my face.
What? This is not a fetish thing. It's not. Never mind where my hand is. Yeah, that's a weird one. I would like to request more research on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you.
Join us next week where we discuss female farts and how they cure Alzheimer's.
I love it.
Yeah. Just don't know where to take it from there.
COVID to farts.
Yeah. So what else is going on in the world? What's our opinions on anything?
I don't know how many people we got talking.
Yeah. What are we looking at the moment?
We've got 2 left in chat.
2 left? Yeah.
And we've got about 4 minutes left before we hit the hour.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. We're doing well.
Actually, Eddie Repeats, I wanted to put this one out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're around. Old mate, whose auntie was in a bit of an accident last week. We'd like to hear what's going on there.
Yeah,
We'd love to see how she's going.
Yeah, we'd like to
QG,
follow.
he come through before, but he's left.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, hopefully his auntie's all right. Yeah. But yeah, what else is happening in the world? I mean, we've had the social media ban introduced today. You know, we'll keep coming back to that. I think over the next few weeks
On social media.
Yeah, on social media, exactly right. Yeah, we got Christmas coming up. Elf on the Shelf has been rampant.
Did a bit of mischief.
Yeah.
My boy hit me with I think you guys are putting the elf up.
What?
He thinks that we're putting the elf up.
Hold on. Listening audience, if there's any kids in the car right now, perhaps you might want to lower the volume, pause this, or so on and so forth.
Now, the government said the kids should be in bed by 8:30, I think. So.
That's right, that's right. Don't forget, we're on YouTube as well.
Yeah, they can't see this.
That's right, yeah, social media ban, we're safe. So yeah, so he said that to you, did he?
Yeah,
it was a sad... But, you know, you got to keep it going. I mean, it's a lie worth telling.
Yeah, yeah.
How bad... Oh, I don't know about you guys. Kids in earshot. Doing the whole lying to the kids about Santa and stuff. Mm-hmm. I felt so conflicted. I was, my sweet little girl, I don't want to be lying to. I fucking felt bad. Gotten used to it. But
yeah. Well, I'm not a Christmas person as a general rule. But I would never take away Santa Claus from kids. I think
can't take away the
Yeah,
joy of that.
For me, when the kids actually figure it out, I'll be like, it was me all along.
Well, I've always had an idea.
So I've got a beard. I was Santa whole time.
Yeah. Now I'm retired and I've got the brown back. That's it. No, I've always had one. So the last year that they believe, okay, and they're all excited, and you do the big build up for Christmas, okay, and you have them all the decorations, and you go take them to see Santa, and they tell them what he wants, and all that sort of thing, and then just imagine it, right? On the morning of 5 o'clock in the morning, they've woken up way too early. They've woken you up way too early, right? They go sprinting down the stairs. Santa's come, Santa's come. They run down the stairs and find nothing but coal under the tree, right?
This is just nothing.
Nothing. Yes. Right? Because just think about it, right? They still believe. And then, what? I was bad this year. Now, I'm not cruel. You come down a couple hours later and you give them their presents and, reveal the truth. And they'd be traumatized, and it might take a while to get over, but they just think they'll be able to tell that story for the rest of their lives. You'll never believe what my father did to me the last year. I believed in Santa.
So the question, if the oldest one starts questioning it, she doesn't get presents the next day.
No.
The other ones do. So
Yeah.
you're going to start questioning them.
That's right, yeah.
Put it in line with the rest of us.
That's right.
Purple paint splat says hi.
Hey, purple paint splat. Yeah.
Purple paint.
Purple paint
I
splat.
think that's a purple paint splat. Looks like it.
That was just an emoji. Fuck, we are in the digital age now, right?
It's fucking speaking hieroglyphs here.
We're reverting. That's what it is. It's how the Egyptians got started. Yeah.
So when they said they fucking carved on tablets, right?
How
Just
are you
old
guys?
digital screens.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. Welcome. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Elf on the Shelf and Santa Claus? How are you going to traumatise your children last year?
Rachel actually did a nice one on the mirror where you actually do the elf hat and the elf body, and they got to put their face in it, and they can take a picture of themselves.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
she fucked it up because she put 6'7" all over the mirror as well.
For fuck's sake. 6'7".
We'll know what year that was.
I can't wait until that trend goes away.
I don't know. I'm getting used to it now.
I mean, this used to mean something else for me. But Dawn came home the other day. She's like, apparently, if we say that in class, their teacher makes us write 6, 7, 100 times on a piece of paper. So you say it in this house, you're going to bloody well do it.
That's right, yeah. That's proper order. That's it. That's discipline in schools, all right? That's what you need.
I just love that no one knows what it means.
They don't even freaking know.
Like,
I don't think
there
they
is
do.
an origin, but it doesn't matter.
You know what it is?
You're
It's
a
a
part of
TikTok
the
meme.
culture.
That's what it is, all right? So it should go away now. They're not on social media.
Gothic Bridal Official says my 13-year-old is still on everything.
Still on everything.
How old are you guys?
You're defying the law.
If you
That's
want to
what's
share
happening.
your ages,
Oh, ours.
21, yeah.
I'm never sure. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Somewhere in
categories,
my
Old enough to not remember.
late 30s.
Late to early 30s.
Really?
I think.
It sort of hurts you in the heart when you're like asked how old you are.
Yeah.
Well, we did just sit here and complain like 3 old men for the last fucking
Yeah,
hour.
it's true. Yeah. All
Gothic
these
says,
kids with their
Damn,
rock
you're
and roll and their YouTube.
Gothic says I'm 44, never becoming like the boomers.
Never becoming like
Yeah.
the boomers. Well, you see,
Say
this is a famous Peter Kay joke. If you haven't seen Peter Kay over here, he's fucking brilliant. He's fucking brilliant. But that's what he says. We're laughing, but we'll end up like our parents. And that's what you're going to say to
Here
your
we
kids.
are.
All me and your mum used to have in the evening were Sky Digital, right? You used to have to load the dishwasher by hand, right? By hand. It goes through this whole spiel. Yeah, I could see that happening to us.
Well, it's already happened. You just said take the kids back to the 90s, give them
Take them back
dial-up.
to the 90s. That's right, dial-up internet, man. Fucking hell, let them try and find porn online then. Huh?
line by line, the image will slowly.
Yeah, it appears. Come on. Honey, oh shit! Shut down. Plug it out. That's the way it goes. But yeah, I think we will.
Yeah.
Like, so self-driving. We talked about self-driving cars, right? My kids have a self-driving car. I'm going to be like, well, fuck, in my day, we just did it ourselves, right? Didn't have any of this bullshit with the fucking.
I still got the window one, isn't it?
That's right, window wires.
Gothic asks, do you guys have kids?
Yes, we do. Well, that's.
Well, we're trying to pitch a bit of a dad's group here.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
Paul's dropping. Isn't there a fire ban?
Not in
First I've
our
heard about
area.
Nah, it's been a lot of rain around here.
Yeah, we've had a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a fire.
Not that I know of.
No. There was one.
The
a few
fires
weeks
haven't
ago.
turned up yet.
Yeah.
I think it got dropped just after we left for.
Oh yeah, we went camping.
Came back from our camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for that long weekend. But
Yeah, which was quite irritating.
it was
because-
really dry though. Gotta admit.
Well, it was dry down here. It wasn't up there.
No.
It was grand up there.
That's a busy camping weekend, so
Yeah.
they just wanted to ban it for that.
There's a ban in South Australia, he says.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. In Queensland.
Yeah.
We just passed a cyclone and a couple of big damaging storms, and
Yeah.
everything's wet and muddy, and
And he's got enough branches hanging around to burn.
yeah, all the trees knocked down.
Yeah. So yeah. So we're still good for fires. We're still good for whiskies,
Anyone wants
and
to share
yeah.
'em?
This is our weekly to explain that. This
Oh
is
yeah.
a dad's group. This is what we're aiming
Yeah,
at.
I mean, not primarily dads.
No. Yeah,
but we
men
found
and things like that.
since
as well.
becoming dads, we've lost the moment, lost the opportunity to have moments like this.
Yes.
You know, just chill out and relax and have a drink, and can't make it to the pub anymore.
No,
So
far too expensive.
Paul asks, are you guys fishing?
Are we fishing? Well, not right now. Do we fish?
do we fit? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fit.
I think
we
the
do. I've
atmosphere
taken that up
gives
recently.
vibe.
Oh, fucking hell.
What was that?
Go fire fishing.
Fly fishing.
Get what?
What?
What planet are you?
I don't fucking know. What did he say?
Paul asked if you guys are fishing.
We're not fishing right now.
Not right now. No.
Could throw a line in.
We could.
There's nothing
I can
in
hear
there.
the creek gurgling away.
Oh yeah, we do like getting out. Well, that
Yeah.
was another thing that we do. We're trying to promote too. Is like pushing this is as parents, you know, we're losing a lot of spare time, and so we're losing a lot of our hobbies. So we're kind of starting these channels. If you want to go back on some of our other videos and on where, you know, asking the public, asking other people out there what you do as hobbies.
Yeah.
You know, we love hearing about what other people do, because
What's your reset?
what do you do to reset? Yeah, like what do you do to unwind and relax and
In saying that, Paul actually makes fishing traces and rigs.
Hey.
Ah, very good.
Okay, very
You'd be a
nice.
man to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave
So that's-
Boy's asking if we're outside. Yes, we are.
We are, yeah.
And George is asking, what's tonight's drop?
Ooh,
Drop.
Oh,
But I thought it was a TikTok thing. Fuck, I don't know.
New follower, Paul's followed.
Hey, Paul. Welcome.
Hammy says she breeds Muscovy ducks.
Ah, there you go. There's a
Duck
What
reason.
is a
Yeah,
Muscovy
yeah.
duck?
I don't know the different breeds of duck myself, but I know that they are all equally delicious.
good eggs. Yeah, good pets too, I think.
Ducks?
Yeah, funny little things.
Yeah.
Could
And
watch
Pammy
around.
knows how-
blood knock, by the way.
Yes.
Naya.
Bladnock, yeah.
So we might have
Lowland
to
Bushroot.
hit
yeah.
Paul up for some rigs, because he says he makes everything from whiting rigs to shark rigs and traces.
Well, that would be quite handy. I would
Is
like
that
to get
like-
to know Paul, because
Like
I've
lure
just-
kind of rigs? Is that what we're talking?
I
Or?
think that's what he's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pammy says it's not a duck or a goose, it's somewhere in between. Really good eating.
Yeah. Very good. There's two people we need to invite over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George has hit the follow.
Good man,
Hey.
George. Yes.
Did we mention what we were drinking tonight?
Yeah.
Well, in a previous video, we go on YouTube. We have because we can't have
Okay, yeah.
our whiskey review on live.
Yeah. Jump on, what is it, Knott's YouTube? Or
No,
Night on the Scotch?
You should know this, all right? This is our podcast.
Do the
aren't we?
reviews. Yeah, so we reviewed what we're drinking tonight.
Yes.
Bloodknock Vinaya, nice lowland Scotch whiskey.
Yep, that's right.
Well, Pammy said mead. Maybe we need to get a mead.
Yes.
Who are you? I love mead. I was at one stage brewing that. Another
hobby that's
hobby
kind
we
of
really
gone
want to do.
aside,
I love brewing, like the different flavors you can get and the fun you can have with it. Absolutely, I want to get that.
Yes.
We might have to do a mead review if we can
There we go.
source it.
I like this.
Yes,
I like this.
I have found the ones you get, like Dan Murphy's and that, they aren't that great. Like you go to Abbey Festival and go to actual like meaderies, phenomenal. The ones you get from Bottle-O's and that, I haven't found many really good ones. Or brew it yourself. Easy to do. Hardish to master, but it's just an endless freaking world. It's fun. It is fun, and I've made some really phenomenal ones there.
Well, that's
Tammy
perfect.
says honey mead is so easy, and
It is.
George says honey mead is fire.
It is.
There you go.
You basically, get a carboy, honey, water, yeast, let it sit.
We will be hard
You
to
know
find
how
on
easy it
YouTube
can
usually,
be, but then you
but,
put
it's
fruits in
not.
there, you put whatever you want in there, and then you got to transfer it to another one to let it settle, and like you can go down a big rabbit hole, or you can make it as simple as you want. Like
That's
it
good.
it is good fun.
Well, that's perfect.
Love it,
'cause
yeah.
This is, as we said, stuff. We've lost all of our hobbies.
As I said, I
basically,
used
all
to
of
do it.
Yeah, used to do it.
Cheddar's going
at the
we've
time.
been kind of working on this for 6 months now,
Yeah,
and we're kind of just getting our act together now. But generally, finding the time to do these things. So we like hearing about these resets.
Yeah.
We like hearing about your
Yeah.
hobbies. So, was it Paul with the fishing?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Paul. Grand. I'm glad I got that right. I'm terrible with names at the best of times. But yeah, Paul. So my young lad, for example, we all went camping recently. I says, I'll get a couple of cheap fishing rods and see if the kids are into it. My young lad is actually quite into it at the moment. He caught a crab first day out. He's very excited. He's still working on level 2, which is a real fish. But he actually caught a full-grown man the other week, which that was fun. Swinging the rod around, and So I would be interested in learning a bit more about hooks and lures and different things like that, because I don't know. I'm like complete amateur.
that's another rabbit
Paul
hole.
says after Christmas he'll be back making fishing rigs and traces, and he posts them all over Australia, handmade. So we might have to check out his page and hit him up.
Yeah.
we'll have to
Send
check
us
that out.
some details and
send
stuff.
the details
Absolutely.
in there, absolutely.
Ryan Taylor's a new follower.
Hey, very good.
Pammy says chocolate sapote mead is bang on.
Ooh. Yeah, I made a choc vanilla one once. They come up pretty bloody good. Yeah. One of my favourites was like this. Had like ginger and a few other spices in it. It's called a witch's brew. I found actual honey that had already had the spices in it, and basically just brewed that up. It was phenomenal. It was amazing.
Honey with spices.
Oh yeah.
I could go for that.
Good.
Yeah.
I even tried a little sparkling mead. That turned out really good. I just wish I put a bit more flavour into it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nice bubbly one. It was so good.
That'd be good.
The things you can do with that, it's a massive world.
Pammy asks.
Well, I'd enjoy that. I think I've said this to you. I mean, I still haven't found a staple drink over here.
Yeah.
Like, in Ireland, I'm a Guinness drinker. And if I'm not drinking Guinness, I'll have a Smithwick's, which is like a red ale. In Ireland, I haven't found an ale or a beer over here that I really love.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get into
go-to.
brewing. I would love to.
Yeah.
I look forward to it when my kids are 25 and they've moved out. Well, they won't have moved out.
You guys share
but
reports in chat.
But yeah, so we like hearing about these things.
Yeah. I love finding other mead followers because it's like it's a very niche thing, and it's a certain type of people that love doing it. So yeah, I love.
But equally, I think if that was more widely available, people would go for it.
Yeah, that's why I experimented with the fizzy one, because I'm thinking, well, you sit down for a fizzy beer or a fizzy drink or something. I'll try and make one of these and see if we can get it. It ended up a bit dry. But yeah, I reckon a bit of ginger in there and stuff like that. That would have been primo.
There you go. Primo.
Yeah. I'm getting excited.
Paul says the best thing he can cook is sea turtle. Is that
Sea
legal?
turtle.
Is that legal?
Is that legal?
I am not sure. But like our discussion earlier when it came to crickets, if it was available.
Say goodnight to George. He's heading off. He's got work at 5.
Good night, George.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm going to be completely honest. I also have work.
Pammy says fizzy mead sounds okay to me with this heat.
Yeah, I could go for that. Fizzy mead, sea turtle, and ducks.
Goose ducks.
Here's a face.
Yes. I like that.
Imagine that.
Sea turtle is only for First Nations, totally illegal otherwise.
I was going to mention that, but I was like, no, I'll keep my mouth shut in case I'm wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So if we get some First Nations friends,
Is that legal?
to have First Nation friends, I would hope so.
No, to have them cook it and you eat it.
I don't know.
That sounded bad when I
We at Night on the Scotch support friends of any race, colour, creed. But
Pammy says you can try it, you just can't catch them.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily want to catch loads of sea turtles anyway, because they're a great thing to see in the water. And that, but like I said, if it was available.
Saying that, trying different meat.
Yeah.
That's a fun little thing to do.
100%, yeah. I think there should be more variety. I mean, pretty much we run off of chicken, pork, lamb and beef. And that's it.
And the same goes for veggies. What do you have? Broccoli, carrot, a couple of things. The fucking wide world of shit that's out there that we're just not exposed to. Yeah, it's good trying all these things.
96 Locked Lux asks, favourite car and why?
Okay, you want to go first?
Hilux!
I'm a Prado man. I like Prados. I do. I like the
get all tired as you can't kill the buggers though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I say Prado, Land Cruiser would be the
level
proper
4 driving too.
100%, yeah.
I got to say, I've owned 4 Hiluxes and I haven't put one on a tow truck yet. And I've blown up.
Considering all the general things you've done to your cars, that is impressive, people, yes.
Last trip was a blown gearbox. I had one gear and I managed to go an hour away. An hour driving with one gear. From low range to high range. And went and got a new one.
Let's clarify that, right? An hour away could have been a kilometre away if you're only in one gear. I mean, let's be honest.
I got the high 4s, so
you
I was
got the
doing
high
about
4s,
70.
that's right.
I was doing all right.
You were doing 80 on the motorway. You got it, Found a really big hill and just kept going.
I've blown a diff in one and still drove home. I've blown an engine mount and wedged a bit of wood in there where the engine mount used to be and drove home. Those things, you can't kill them.
Yeah, Lux says he's blown 2 motors.
2 motors. 2 motors for 2 different reasons, or did you make the same mistake twice? Because that would be embarrassing.
Paul loves the F250, and user says, "What's in the bottle?"
It's Bladnoch, a lowland Scotch whiskey, and it's a fine drop.
It is very nice.
It's good. I'm enjoying it.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, that's my car preference. But there are so many great cars out there as well. You know what I mean? It depends what you want, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You know?
The muscle cars, I'd have in a 6-bay garage if I had one of them too.
Oh jeez. What classic motor would you go for? You had to pick.
Oh, I got it. Well, a bit off topic here, but my old boy last, for 20 odd years or something, was a Volkswagen mechanic, and he owns a Manx, so like a beach buggy.
Yeah.
That thing is fun as fuck. So I think that'd be the next one. Rip the roof off, no doors, no windows.
Yeah.
Fiberglass body. You can pick the front of the car up over your head by yourself. And when you know the right people, like my old boy, he can make those things fucking go quick.
Nice.
So they're good.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Fair enough.
Paul says he used to ride bulls for a living. That's something we could put on.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Let's hit a radio.
That's a reset Sav can try. Yeah. 100%.
Lux says a 2.8. What's that? A 3-litre, 1 overboost, and the other 1 let go. I know nothing about cars, Locke, so you're talking to the wrong person here.
Oh, hang on. What, is he talking Hilux 2.8?
Yeah, he's talking about the 2. I think he's talking about the 2 engines.
Yeah, I've had 2 2.8s. I've had 2 3-litres. So what did you do? He overboost one?
Yeah, 1 overboost and the other 1 let go.
Oh, okay. So you cranked up the turbo, didn't you?
No judgment.
And
by the way,
was it one with a turbo, or did you put a surf one in there? CT20.
Pam says EVs are blowing up.
They are blowing up. That's a
big
phrase. Yeah, we're talking like they're blowing up, getting popular. They're blowing up because they're doing both. Yeah. I will say, electric cars seem to be, everybody who drives one, they do seem to say, particularly the Teslas, that they are great cars to drive.
Yeah.
And they are phenomenally well made, and you can't take that away from them.
For a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as they need new batteries, as soon as anything goes wrong, it's just a paperweight.
Right?
Yeah. Like you said it there, you've had the 4 Hilux, you never had to put it on a tow truck.
Yeah.
Anything goes wrong with
admittedly, I put one on a trailer, but I rolled that one. But that kind of doesn't count. I didn't break down.
No, that's not a breakdown.
And it was a trailer, it still wasn't a tow truck. So.
Locke says they don't like 30 PSI, I can tell you that. Which is wild, because I had I still got the Turbo Rex here, it's sitting in the driveway, but I had that at 14 PSI, and that was
pushing it
fastest car. 30 PSI.
The Hiluxes don't like going too much over like 10 or 12 to go to 30. I think you're asking to blow it up.
Pammy talking about the blowing up cars. She says, because lithium in the shed in the family car was always going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, lithium stock must be going through the roof.
Oh,
it would have been
blowing.
This is the type of thing, if you have money, it's easy to make money.
Yeah.
Invest in these things.
Yeah.
You know. But
Pammy had a XC Falcon 351 for her first car, she says.
First car.
First car.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have anything particularly wonderful for a first car, but the best car I've ever had was a 1990 Nissan Pulsar.
Oh.
Fucking great.
Pulsar, Corolla. You can't kill those.
You can't kill them at all. This thing was brilliant.
Great.
It was, I was 25 years old when I got it, and jeez, it just drove. Never had a problem with it, you know what I mean? It was brilliant.
We have 9 in chat at the moment.
Hey,
nice.
User says you need to cop the Jamison Caskmate Stout Edition.
Yes, I do admire that one. That is good. Because they did the Stout and the IPA, I think. It's good to get them too and like compare. That's good. It's nice.
Nice.
Everyone's chatting cars now. We got Lux saying he has a VS Commodore that makes 459 horsepower.
You put an LS in it? The standard?
Paul's first car was a yellow Ford panel van, 6-cylinder on gas and fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Good old panel van, shagging wagon.
And Pammy wants to buy bottles or swap ducks for bottles.
Swap ducks for bottles. Empty bottles?
Yeah.
Empty bottles. Stripes Mechanical followed.
I'd make that trade.
Yeah.
Empty bottles for a duck, I'd make that trade.
Yeah.
We have big plans in regards to alcohol at some point in the future.
We got a few big plans for a few
Many
different
decades
things.
away, but you might see a Knott's alcohol come out.
Hey.
A Knott's Scotch one
Not
day.
Scotch.
Yeah. And just
Sorry, is it Pam with the ducks? Whereabouts are you?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about these ducks now.
Are they ducks or geese? I don't
All
know.
Out there in between.
She says they're heritage breed.
Heritage breed.
And duck food is expensive. Pammy's in Brisbane.
in Brizzy.
Ah, there we go.
Oh,
That's
whereabouts?
Easy. Yeah.
If you want to divulge that.
That's right.
Lux had a 79 Holden Gemini for his first car.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah.
I had a Celica. I had a 2-door Celica.
Yeah.
He had a chunk of, like a big block of concrete, and it fucked the rear axle, so it crab crawled everywhere it went. And you could never, it never started. You had to push start it. So whenever we went out with the boys, I lived with a couple of dudes, we'd have to all get out, push the car to get it started, and then everyone had to jump in as quick as they could, and then we'd take off. So you go to get fuel, you're doing the same thing. You got to fucking push that car.
See, our kids will never know that. They'll never know that. It'll just be push the button and the car goes. That's bollocks. Come on. You've got to push start a car at least once in your life. Yeah.
A couple of mates, I think one had a Bintara, one, I can't remember what the other one was. One of them, you could use a 5-cent piece to open the lock on the doors, but not start the car. But the other way around for the Bintara, you could use the keys to unlock it, but you could use a 5-cent piece to start the ignition.
User says, you need to post alcohol comparison content. He'd 100% watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I like
That's
it.
something we can expand
Yeah,
to.
yep.
Yeah, 100%.
We do Scotch reviews that get posted to YouTube because TikTok doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So come find us, Night On The Scotch on YouTube.
that's right. You're
and yeah,
also
we'll
on
start doing
Spotify. But yes.
Paul says, I feel these fellas should be drinking Guinness. Irish?
Yeah.
One of us should be.
You wait till we go international, my friend. All right.
Start doing Saturday night so you don't have to drive home.
Yes, at the moment this is where we're still on a bit of the setup stage, still
Hey.
getting
Jaxie's
into the groove of things.
from
We are
last
doing
week.
our whiskey reviews
Jaxie.
of a Wednesday.
Says, hey, she almost missed us.
Oh,
Well, she kind of nearly has. 'Cause we'll have to finish up soon because we
will
do
have
have
to
work
finish up
tomorrow,
soon, guys.
unfortunately. But
we're glad to
But
see
thank
you.
you for coming back.
Rocking
Yeah.
horse food.
Ah.
Yeah, user says, get the Jameson's bottle comparison going.
Done deal.
There you go.
We hit a lot of followers tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks very much. Thanks
And
for joining us.
Luxie's only 23. I missed your message before, Luxie, sorry. And he says, Gentleman Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip my mate Jack.
Gentleman Jack, that's
That's the fancier Jack Daniels, isn't
Yeah.
it?
yeah. I was trying to think of who made that. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that is good.
Night, Pammy.
Night, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Good night.
And Paul asks, what is the best Irish whiskey?
I haven't delved into that world too much yet.
Well, yeah. You're much more about your scotches,
Yeah.
isn't it? Well, again, it's always down to it's subjective, isn't
Nice
it?
Yeah.
check, my dad.
Really.
I mean, everyone says
Very
Jameson's, but to me,
Jameson's-
that's a run of the mill. to me.
Well, it's the most well known. I mean, they do have nice 21-year-olds and 18-year-olds
Yeah,
and all that.
but I
as
mean,
well.
Jim Beam's the most well-known bourbon. But it's
Yeah.
definitely not the best bourbon.
No,
So I think
that's true,
Jameson's
yeah.
is the most well-known.
just because you got the best marketing department does not
Yeah,
necessarily
exactly.
mean you're the best. Yeah.
Jaxie says, I actually thought of you guys this morning and thought, yay, chat with the boys tonight.
Hey,
very good.
Left
Yes.
an impression.
That's
Nah,
right.
thanks
Let's
for
get
coming
more
back.
of that.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Cabrera says hi.
How are you?
Hello.
Ron says, Gentleman Jack is quite smooth and
It
Jameson is mint.
Yeah, not knocking Jameson.
No,
It
no,
is
no.
good.
It's a good.
But
Yeah,
I think
it's not a bad
there
one.
is
It's,
some better
for the
craft
follow.
and
Yeah,
stuff
it's
out
not.
there.
It's
We'll see you again.
the most well known does not mean the
Yeah.
best. That's the way you'd leave that now.
Lux
Um,
asks, how drunk do you have to be to try a backflip?
Leave that for a Saturday night, not a Wednesday.
And Paul says Glenfiddich is his flavour.
Glenfiddich is a good one. Yeah.
Ooh,
At
another
Space
panel.
Side?
That. You're the expert.
I don't know. I know it's a Speyside flavour profile. Good, very light.
Ron likes his Scotch 18 plus.
Wee.
Yeah.
He says, I like a Scotch that's old enough to buy its own Scotch.
Yeah. That's a good way of phrasing it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good morals to have.
100%.
And Ron
It's about having
follows
the
too.
cash for these
Right.
18-year-olds. That's the other thing. Yeah.
Lux wants to see a backflip. That's going to cost you
Yeah.
5 universes to see that one.
Hold on. What does that translate to in
And
real world?
don't make commitments for us.
Yeah.
5 universes, I'll get him to do a backflip.
Far out.
You know,
That's
he
a good
said
50
him there.
bucks
It's
in
not
there.
going to be you, right?
Paul says, my mother was born in Kilmarnock, Scotland.
Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock's a nice area. Nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
surprised it's actually pronounced that. I was like, is it going to be like Flip Lapland or something?
Now, the Scots are slightly more straightforward than us. You can't understand them, but they're slightly more straightforward. No, the Scots are good people, to be fair. Kilmarnock's a nice area, nice people. So,
It is enough gifts to cover medical expenses. 5 universes.
Yeah.
Lux says, done deal, he'll make it happen next payday. Who's doing the backflip is the question.
Lying up
I
in
feel a
hospital
little
with a
bit-
neck issue, mate. You're paying.
Have you seen that episode of Black Mirror where, you know, people are able to go online and get paid to do stupid shit like ripping each other's teeth out?
I
and
think
all
it's
that
called Jackass.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically, yeah.
We got 11 in chat and we might have to call it in 2 minutes.
Oh, I think so.
The lights are dimming, it's getting dark on
It
screen.
is.
We will have to do that because we do have work in the morning, unfortunately. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
Yes,
thank you,
thank you very
everybody
much.
who's come back. because that's brilliant.
Yeah.
This is what we want.
Yeah.
We're looking for the community vibe. We're looking to bring people in and make
Every
this a
Wednesday
thing.
night we'll be
Sav
here,
is
guys.
very excited. I'm gonna have to calm him down now. You know, he gets a bit rared up, but yes, and
Lux
everybody. Go on.
Lux says all he's hearing is excuses.
Not my words.
Hawes says have a great night, and Lux also says love you boys, keep it up.
Beautiful.
So,
Thank you very
Come
much.
join us next week, eh?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday we are doing this.
Around
Whiskey
what,
Wednesdays.
8:30ish?
8:30 thereabouts.
Eastern Standard?
Yeah.
Australian Eastern Standard? Is that how
Don't
it works?
overly confuse it. You know, whatever time this is now, take away an hour. That's where we're at.
We've got a few more in chat. We've got 12 in chat at the moment, and Paul says the worst day fishing beats the best day at work.
Yeah.
User says he'll start tuning
He's
in
got.
more
He's obviously got a
lives.
shit job too.
User says he just found us tonight.
Very
Have a
good.
great night, lads.
Yeah.
Well, come join us next week, please.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're
Look
going to
forward
have to call it a night.
Unfortunately, yes. But
Kano asks if you're going to have a tug before bedtime, too.
if you're gonna have a tug before bed. How's the robot hand going?
yeah, that's a yeah. All right, night, guys.
Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining
Yes.
us. Thank you, everybody, our new followers. Fantastic stuff. Thank you,
absolutely.
everybody, for coming back,
Yes.
especially then.
Great
because
seeing us.
That's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody listening on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are, like, comment, subscribe, share us far and wide because we're trying to build something here.
Yeah.
And when we get there,
The more we build, the more we can do.
100%.
The more we can join us.
Before
absolutely.
we leave, can we get it to 2,000 likes? We're 100 off.
Oh, 100
Ooh.
off. Like, oh, come on.
Come
man.
on, we can do it.
We can do that. Everybody smash that like button. Just get us up there.
Before the lights go out.
It's getting dark. It's getting dim.
The batteries are going low. We've run out of firewood. Come on, people. But yeah, no.
we
Everybody,
really
thank you.
enjoy you guys like showing up. We
2K
Really-
likes.
really weren't sure how this was going to go, but it's been a great response. So thank you very much.
Yes,
This has
yeah.
been brilliant.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Like we said, we got plans.
Yeah,
We
that's
got big
right.
plans.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right.
Paul.
And stick with us. All
Tug
right.
away, fellas, Kano says. All right,
Fine.
guys.
If you insist.
Have a good night.
Catch you.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Good luck. Nuts out.
That's out.